ChatGPT is bad for dating. It doesn't work. It's politically correct. Nonsense. Try it out. It doesn't work. Okay. Happy?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Had criticism about my Instagram and pictures of other women I liked in the past. Normal. Not really. If it's something that you had in the past that is not active, if a woman criticizes you for who you followed in the past, not good. Now, if you're in a relationship now, it's okay to make a demand of each other, you of her and she of you, that you unfollow other people from your past. That's okay. That's an individual agreement you can have. But just criticizing you for somebody who you followed in the past, that's a sign of deep insecurity and you want to stay away from that person. Next.
Okay, how can I flirt with a woman more richer than I am? There was like more multiple questions.
How can I flirt with how can I get a sugar mama?
Yes.
Okay. How can I flirt with a woman richer than me? Just like anybody else, there's really no difference. Attraction is always built the exact same way. Next. So, speaking German, die wollen, dass ich das auf Deutsch sage. Ich komme nämlich aus Deutschland, liebe Leute, das vergessen die meisten Leute. Ich komme aus Aachen, ich lebe aber schon sehr, sehr lange in Irland. Ja, für die Deutschen da, liebe Grüße. People forget that German is actually my first language. Now, some people say they can hear my German accent, but some don't. And I would like to think that I don't have that strong a German accent. I hope. German is not a very sexy language. It's just not. You know, sorry. Next one. So we guys can't approach or have our type? What is that? That question doesn't even make any sense. No, you're supposed to approach and you're supposed to have a type. What do you have?
Will the chat bring me success?
Will bachata bring me success? No, it won't. It can help. Dancing is amazing. I've gotten a lot of people into dancing because it helps you with a lot of things. But I know too many guys in the dance community who are actually crushing it on the surface who can't find a quality relationship because they end up with the wrong women and they themselves, their mindset still sucks. Trust me, you can be a lover boy on the dance floor and still don't know what you're doing from a social dynamic standpoint. Now, don't get me wrong, dancing is amazing. And if you haven't started bachata or salsa, you should start bachata and salsa. It's great. But that alone will never in a million years get you a happy relationship. Never in a million years. Next.
How to test women if they are real without wasting time?
How to test, it's almost like, you know, like how to test women if they are real without wasting time by being radically honest. Say what you actually believe. You have to become like Moses parting the Red Sea. Most guys communicate like lukewarm water. Let me say that again. Most of you communicate like lukewarm water. You're very careful. Doesn't mean you're not supposed to be respectful. You're supposed to be respectful, kind, caring, socially calibrated. But Jesus Christ, can you please say what you actually believe? Say what you actually believe, my friend. I love, I hate. I bet you. Say what you believe, and you have to be willing to sacrifice the width for the depth. You have to be okay with most people not liking you. For every person who likes my stuff, there's 1,000 who don't. I'm pulling that number out of my ass. But it's somewhat like that. For every one person who likes me, there's 10 who don't, and it's perfectly fine. I'm not here for everybody. I'm here for those who want to learn. I'm here for those who say, this is interesting. And that's exactly what you need to do in your dating and your relationship life. You need to stop depending on the approval of the masses and go deep. Now, that doesn't mean you can only have one friend. You can still have plenty of friends. But 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20, 1 out of 100. You have to become radically honest. And you don't even know what that means. You've never even seen what it means to be radically honest in conversations with women. Trust me. You've never even seen it in a calibrated and mature way. Most likely. Because there's two extremes. Either guys who are pussies or men who just treat women like shit. And that's not the aim of the game either. But mature masculinity, radical honesty wrapped in real love, not neediness, but just in genuine care, that is extremely rare. Start saying what you actually believe, my friend. Become radically honest and you'll be able to test and screen for compatibility rather quickly. I've had it once many years ago where I was on a date with a woman and within 5 minutes, it turns out that our worldviews weren't particularly aligned, so we shook hands and we walked away. Perfectly fine. How soon should you end the date? Immediately. If you realize you're not right for one another, you walk away immediately. David, isn't that disrespectful? Aren't you being an asshole if you walk away immediately? No. You just refuse to waste her time and yours. If I know after 5 minutes that's not going to go anywhere for physical reasons or values or personality or IQ, I'm going to shake her hand and I'm going to say, hey, this probably won't make sense for us. I respect you as a person, but I don't want to waste your time, so I'm going to move on. And you walk away. And you've saved your most precious resource, which is time. Next.
Best and easiest way to upgrade my IG footprint for maximum impact.
Best and easiest way to improve the Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram is a very powerful tool for dating. Just with Instagram alone, you can get multiple dates per week, or at least multiple dates per month with quality women to choose the right one from. Instagram is really good. So you need to have a good Instagram. Here's what you do. You want to know how to build a good Instagram? This is what you do. 12 photos on Instagram, minimum, has to be 12, where you look at professional photography, lifestyle, social proof, and status enhancing elements. And then you post a couple of stories every single day, put them in the highlights. You do that, and then you send a couple of DMs every single day with a tailored opener to a profile. Boom, you'll be able to get dates. Most importantly, you'll be able to move the conversations from dating apps to Instagram. You'll be able to move the conversations from an in-person approach to Instagram, from a social circle event to Instagram. They're all there. They're all watching your stories. They'll see what's happening. They'll build a connection with you, and then she will meet you instead of John. If you're John, congratulations. But you want her to meet you. How do you do that? In marketing, there's something called a mere exposure effect. If you're in a country that you don't know and you're really thirsty and it's really hot and you end up in some shady supermarket and they have 2 drinks, Coca-Cola and Schmokamola, you're always going to pick Coca-Cola, even if it has sugar. And by the way, Coke Zero aspartame is not a big deal. You can drink Coke Zero. It's one of my friends. He's the best weight loss coach in Germany. It's fine. Trust me, it's all good. Argument from authority, I understand. But aspartame ain't bad, okay? You can drink a couple of cans of Coke Zero every single day. It's no issue. You will choose Coca-Cola over Schmokamola because you've never heard that before. And we trust what we're exposed to more. Now, David, I'm a private person. You're in control of what you post. I'm hyper aware of what I post. I'll never post anything stupid. You're 100% in control. I've done this with men who run 9-figure businesses, who run 8-figure businesses. Right? I've done this with normal people as well. You can do this. There's some people who have to keep it private for sure. But 19 out of 20 men, 99 out of 100 men, you can have a public Instagram and just be fully in control of what you do. I've done this with a lot of very successful men, guys who are crushing in their career, their business. You can just post stuff that makes you look good and like a good human being. Now, there's 2 things. There's radical honesty and effectiveness. So you want it to be really authentic and also look good. You want it to look as good as humanly possible without faking something. If you look at my Instagram, you'll never see me posing in front of a private jet that I don't own. You never see me fake anything. Did you ever notice that? That I never fake anything. I'm not standing in front of a private jet or a yacht or something. Why? Like, you see through that nonsense anyway. People have a BS detector anyway. Faking something is not what it's about. But you can make yourself look as good as humanly possible while being authentic. And you can also make yourself look as bad as humanly possible while being authentic. So the truth can be communicated effectively or ineffectively on Instagram, on dating apps, or in an in-person approach. Next.
Is it the best to sit beside the woman on the first date, or should I be in front? What's the psychology behind it?
Is the best next to her, ideally. The psychology is very simply that to build physical contact in a calibrated and respectful way. Don't touch her if she doesn't want that, by the way. If she's not comfortable, you leave her alone immediately. But it's easier to build intimacy if you sit next to one another. But what if you go for dinner? Don't go for dinner. Just go for drinks. Doesn't mean you can't ever go for dinner for a first date. Absolutely you can, but it's much better to just have drinks. Ideally alcohol-free drinks, mocktails in a bar. She can have whatever she wants, and ideally you have an alcohol-free drink. Yeah, but David, I need the confidence from the drink. Work on your confidence! Next. Just 1 second. Babe, how much time do you need to be ready? 15 minutes? Okay, you guys are lucky because Fernando and I were going on our date night. So we have 15 more minutes, 10 to 15 more minutes until Fernando's ready. So that's good. Let's rock and roll.
Do you have any book recommendations for emotional regulation?
Book recommendations for emotional regulation. My YouTube channel. There's a video called Inner Game Mastery. If you want the best mental and emotional state possible every single day, go watch that. Inner Game, type David Mason into YouTube. Inner Game Mastery. It's a 50-minute video. You watch it. It will change your freaking life. Next.
Can love exist without
That's what happens when you hire an Eastern European videographer. Vulnerability. See? Eastern Europeans can't even pronounce the word. They don't even have that concept. They can't even say the word.
Yeah, so I'll finish the question. Or it's all the vulnerability is the very definition of romance.
Okay, so come again?
Does it exist?
No, the first part of the question?
Can love exist without?
Can love exist without vulnerability, or is vulnerability the very definition of love?
Perfect.
Perfect. Amazing. Vulnerable. Kurwa mać. Oh my goodness. Let me explain vulnerability. By the way, I also have a video on my YouTube channel about vulnerability. It's shot in front of the Guinness Lake. It's one of the sickest shots that I ever have. Vulnerability, if you type that in, I have a longer one, looks really cool. But let me tell you vulnerability. Let me tell you what vulnerability isn't, first of all. Vulnerability isn't being weak. It isn't being insecure. It isn't placing the burden of feeling good on her. It isn't placing the burden of solving your problems onto her. It's not using her as your therapist. It's none of that. What vulnerability actually is, it's just openness. You want to be open. If you're open and you're willing to connect and you don't have that facade, pretending to be too cool for school, that is what she actually connects to. Vulnerability, being open and showing emotions, that is beautiful. And being authentic. Open and authentic, vulnerability, yes. Being weak and pathetic, no. Next question. Lack of compatibility after the first date. How to end it politely. Sarah, I think you're a really cool person, but this won't make sense for us. I respect you, and since I want to respect you, I don't want to waste your time. We should be friends. That's it. And you friend zone her. Friend zoning is a skill you as men have to learn. Next question here. Is let's one of these days better than setting a time and date right off the bat? Very good question. Sounds like you're a little bit familiar with my content. So what you want to do is you want to have a soft close and then the hard close. The soft close on dating apps is you go, let's meet for drinks one of these days. She says yes. And then you go for a specific time and date. The reason you want to do that is, let's say you're just going through the conversation and then you transition to the close after 15 to 20 messages on dating apps. By the way, in my coaching program, I teach the texting framework in depth. If you want personal help, go apply for a free initial consultation. Click that link in the bio, apply for a free initial consultation or send me a direct message. But the reason we do the soft close first is, imagine you go through the conversation and then you say, so let's meet Thursday. And she says, no, I can't. Then you've gotten an unnecessary no. So first, you just want her to say, yeah, cool, sounds good. And then, so you say, let's meet for drinks one of these days. She says, cool. And then you say, how about Thursday or Sunday? You suggest 2 days, for example. Make sense? Hope that's valuable. Next question.
How to switch from we're interested to doing a couple of things after dating.
What? How to switch from we're interested to a couple of things after dating? Oh, making love. Bro, you got to watch that. How to switch from
we're interested
uh-huh
to the things after.
Where you romantically escalate things verbally as well as non-verbally. Building a man-to-woman connection is done verbally as well as non-verbally through the use of words and physically. Gradually reading her signs and very, very, very slowly. Next.
Do the cameraman can film the date?
Can the cameraman film the date? It's funny, actually, in my coaching program, we have a full breakdown of what to do on the date, how, what not to do, Fernanda and I acting things out. So yeah, hit the application form, fill that out in my bio and apply for a free call. Or send me a direct message on Instagram with some... if I'm not able to give you specific feedback here, then just send me a DM and I will give you some specific guidance on whatever's going on. Might take me a couple of days to get back to you, but I will. Next one. Is there any time I should wait before buying her a ring? Yeah, a couple of years. 2 to 3 years, at least. I asked the question by messenger 5 days ago. No reply, though active online. Try to call, no answer. Move on. She made a conscious decision not to respond to you. Women live on their phone. If for more than 2 days you don't get a response, she's not interested in you. Now she may come back at some point. She made a conscious decision not to respond to you. So just move on. Can you give an example of a good prompt? A good prompt on dating apps? Yeah, I can give you an example. Special talent, feeding pigeons. That's a good one. That's an example. Remember how I always say that 2/3 of your prompts on dating apps should be fun and lighthearted, and 1/3 should be conveying your values. The fun and lighthearted one is on Hinge or on Bumble. You can say special talents, feeding pigeons. That's funny. If love has to be sincere and pious, I don't know that word. Sorry, English is my second language. Apologies. Why do we have to play games of manipulation to gain respect or love? Very good question. If love is authentic, why do we have to play these games? with the right one, we shouldn't have to play these games. No, you shouldn't play manipulative games, but there are still social dynamics of attraction where if you violate them, you will suffer. Just because you don't know about the principles of finance or risk of investments, just because you're not aware of the principles by which the stock market or investments, and I don't know shit about that, by the way, like very, very, very little. Just because you don't know anything about it doesn't mean they still don't affect you. Just because you don't know how the 3 levers of satiation work when it comes to your nutrition, just because you don't know what those are, that doesn't mean that they won't impact your feelings of hunger and thereby your caloric intake. They are principles that are at work regardless of whether or not you're aware of it. Let me say that again. Regardless of whether or not you're aware of it, these principles are still at work. What creates attraction, those principles are still working. There's still risk in life, whether you're aware of it or not. They exist. So if you violate those best principles, if you violate those practices, attraction goes down. And by the way, later Sunday, we're going to post the conversation mistakes one. Sunday, we can post the one that we filmed today, the conversation mistakes one. I'm getting him to commit right now to work on Sunday. All right, today early we filmed, what was it, 10 minutes? A 10-minute video on conversation mistakes men make on dates that are going to be extremely helpful for you, that will prevent you from making some of those mistakes. That will be a 10-minute reel, insanely valuable, coming out here on Sunday. Next one.
If we already in relationship, can I expect her to write to me first on the mornings, or she is saying it's a man role to initiate?
Either or, there are individual agreements. So Fernanda, for the whole time while we were dating non-exclusively, would never ever text me first. She would always wait for me to do that. Some women will wait for you to be the man, and some women will text you first. There's individual agreements. Just text her first. Now, at some point, she should match the effort, but matching the effort can come in a variety of different ways. It doesn't mean her texting first. Next question. Do you think people fall in love once or in different ways with different people? Falling in love. Let's differentiate between attachment, love, neediness, and desire. Let me say this again, so you understand this, so you prevent yourself from suffering unnecessarily. There's attachment, love, neediness, and desire. Attachment is a biological process that occurs when you spend time with people. Men or women, you just get attached to them. That's why it hurts after a breakup, because you're trying to read your nervous system of your memory of them. But if you put the right practices into play, you have to suffer a lot less than otherwise necessary. The other one is neediness. Neediness is the conscious or unconscious belief coupled with a couple of undesirable feelings, anger, sadness, fear, that you need her, that your happiness depends on her. I need her. I'll never find someone like her. That was the reason I married my ex-wife, because I thought I'll never find someone like her ever again. And it led to a tremendous amount of suffering that I don't want you to experience. And by the way, I'm not one of those guys who's for men and against women. Really not. I'm for men and I'm for women. But I believe that if I empower men, the woman who ends up in a relationship with a man will be so much happier because they're naturally compatible, and she'll be with a man who is right for her to begin with, because he presents himself in a masculine way, because women need you to be a man. So, neediness is something you have to strip yourself of. It's an old pattern. It's not who you are. It's simply an old habit. Then we have desire. Desire is simply wanting. Desire is fine. Alan Watts says it all starts with desire. It can point you in the right direction, and it can show you what you actually want. Desire is amazing. Now, love is not about you at all. Love is really just, I wish beings well. I want you to be happy, and I will let that manifest itself in my actions towards you. Let me say that again. Love has nothing to do with you. Anything that you feel in terms of wanting or needing is either neediness, desire, or attachment. It has nothing to do with love. Love is just, your cup runneth over. I just wish you the best. Whether we're together or not, by the way. Very good one. Next. How soon should you say I love her? After 6 to 12 months. Before then, let her.
How about the ones who want to pay their bills up front after asking the woman out and she says this?
So you go on a first date and she's asking you to pay her bills. big red flag, she's with you for the money. If she's bringing up money very quickly, those are gold diggerish vibes. That doesn't mean you can't pay for logistical costs, but that doesn't mean you should pay ungodly amounts for dinners or something like that either. You can pay for logistics and you can pay for the experience if you want, but if she's actively bringing up finances, avoid that person. Next. Somebody says, she's Latina and in a committed relationship, but secretly likes me and wants a relationship, which I declined. If she cheats with you, she will cheat on you, my friend. Next, how to avoid awkward silences in the middle of the date and what to say. Awkwardness does not exist. Awkwardness only exists in your mind. It's a meaning you give a situation and or your internal reality. There can be silence, but on the chart of elements in physics, there's no AW for awkwardness. It doesn't exist. You make things awkward. Anything that one person considers awkward, somebody else considers funny. Let me say this again. You give it the meaning that it's awkward. It doesn't exist. You can make it funny. You can make it playful. Now you have to develop a skill set on how to never run out of things to say and how to become a good storyteller and how to spike your emotions. That's definitely true, so you don't run out of things, because 7 weird long silences, that is kind of stupid. But every once in a while having a silence because you go on a storytelling round and then there's a little natural pause where you take a little sip of your 0-calorie drink. Now, was that awkward? I don't know. For some of you, maybe. For me, it wasn't, so I couldn't give two shits. You get me? So you want to understand that you are 100% in control of the meaning you give a situation. And you don't have to feel awkward at all. At the same time, you do have to develop the skill set of not running out of things to say. You never in your life have to feel awkward ever again. Let me say this again. You never in your life have to feel awkward ever again. Okay, if she wants to split the bill on the first date, is that okay and what to expect next? Of course it's okay. As a man, I would always offer to pay for the first date. Again, just drinks is enough. It doesn't have to be a 500 euro steak dinner, but it can be, but it really doesn't have to be. You can just meet for alcohol-free drinks, or if you must have a glass of wine every once in a while, you can do that as well. But just offer to pay. And if she insists on splitting the bill, yeah, cool, let her, fine. But that's a red flag. If she insists, it is a red flag. If she offers and then you decline, she offers playfully. If it's a little dance, that's okay, that's fine. But if she really insists, it's a bit of a red flag. How important is common interests and common beliefs? I used to believe it's very important. Then I met this beautiful girl and it didn't have a good ending, so now I believe it's not that important. So beliefs and interests are very different things. Beliefs and values, yes, they have to be the same. Compatibility regarding your values, i.e. your beliefs, means the same. Personality does not mean the same. You don't have to have the same hobbies. You don't have to have the same interests. I like martial arts. Fernanda doesn't really. Yeah, she did a little bit of capoeira, which no, it's not a martial art, it's a dance. Yeah, I understand you're good kickers, but yeah, ever seen a capoeira fighter in UFC? If they do, they don't win just with capoeira. There's a lot of there's boxing and there's kickboxing and there's jiu-jitsu involved in that also, okay? But you don't have to have the same hobbies. It really doesn't matter. Your personalities have to be aligned, which doesn't mean the same at all, but your values, they have to be the same. High alignment in those. Hobbies really don't matter at all, as long as you go to the gym. Lifestyle and goals matters more. So yeah, next one, please.
She gets paid almost the same as me, but doesn't believe that the house payment should be 50-50. I think she's wrong. What do you think?
Oh, interesting. That's a lack of compatibility. She gets paid, apparently, in that particular example, almost the same as the guy, and she doesn't believe that the house payment should be 50-50. Well, that's called a lack of compatibility. There's no right or wrong here. Just find somebody who believes the same as you. If she wants somebody to take full care of her, that's okay. She can find somebody like that. If you want somebody to do 50-50, find somebody. Just compatibility. Selection is the number one factor for success in a relationship. Compatibility is the number one factor for success in a relationship. That's why you need so many quality dates to choose the right one from, to disqualify the wrong ones. And you need to learn to communicate in a way where you elicit red flags very quickly.
If she's traveling to me 8 hours in train, should I pay for her ticket?
If she is traveling 8 hours to come and meet you, should you pay for the ticket? Yes. How to actively engage in an interesting conversation and keep her interested in you? Well, that could be a 15-hour answer. You have to become an excellent communicator. I have 400 videos on YouTube, almost 2,500 videos for free on Instagram here. A lot of them go into that, okay? Check out my YouTube videos, check out these free videos. check out the Spotify podcast. If you want me to help you with that personally, apply for a free initial consultation. Click the link in my bio. It is the right decision. Trust me. Apply for a free call, and a member from my team is going to reach out to you to analyze where you're at right now and where you need to go. For those of you who can afford it, absolutely join the coaching program. It'll be the single best decision in your life. It's expensive. It's very expensive. But if you can afford it, it'll change your life. For those of you who can't, I still care about you. We are continuously making a ton of content. 400 free videos on YouTube. 100 episodes on podcast on Spotify for free. And almost 2,500 videos on Instagram for free. We have a lot of long form videos here on Instagram as well, and we're dropping another long form one on Sunday with 4 conversation mistakes you absolutely have to avoid. Can we do one more question? Don't say it if it's weird.
What is the origin of love?
What is the origin of love? That is a beautiful example of overthinking. Somebody who asks this question is not taking enough action. For you, brother, whoever asked that question, you're mentally masturbating and you need to start taking more action. That's probably a good way to wrap this up. Guys, if I wasn't able to answer here, send me a direct message. Go to the direct messaging, message me, and I will be in touch later today. Well, today's daylight, so probably tomorrow. Maybe later today, let's see. And yeah, there's so many more questions coming in. Guys, message me, send me a direct message, and I will get back to you. And thank you so much. Looking forward to it. And take some action. Look, it's a weekend. There's plenty of opportunities to go and socialize and get dates this weekend if you really want to do, without alcohol or without any substance. Wish you all the best. Speak soon.